Our bedtime routine does a lot to set the stage for getting a good night's sleep. On today's episode, we'll take a look at a recent survey that sheds light on some surprising nighttime trends. I'm Jay, and this is Somnilopod. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I am so proud and excited that you decided to join me again to learn some things about sleep, about the importance of sleep in our lives, and to help to educate yourself and to spread the word about the importance that sleep has in our overall health and well-being. So I am very excited that you are here. And speaking of sleep, I want you to do something for me. I want you to think back to last night as you were getting ready for bed. I want you to think about your routine. For me, my typical routine is to go ahead and get into my bedclothes, brush my teeth, and then I usually turn the thermostat down so it gets nice and chilly. I usually keep it about 63 because I like a cold bedroom. I will then usually read a book for about 30 to 45 minutes before I roll over and turn the light off to get ready for sleep. Some nights, if I'm feeling a little bit anxious, I may take a dietary supplement, usually a magnesium supplement, just to sort of help relax me a little bit. But overall, that is my general routine for getting to bed. Now, a recent survey from sleepfoundation.org gave us some interesting information. One of the things that they were looking at in this survey was to see what patients or what respondents' typical bedtime routine was. While some of the information that they presented was really encouraging, some of it was a little discouraging. One of the main bedtime rituals at 52.7% of the respondents saying that they were watching TV at night before bed. Interestingly, about 50.4% of those adults reported that they were getting 7 hours or less of sleep each night. And the reason I find that a little disconcerting is because we have talked so much and there's been so much information about the effect of the type of light that we get from the television at night, how it can affect our ability to sleep, especially in the long term. And it was interesting that 72.6% of the respondents reported that they're watching programming on an actual television set as opposed to, like on their phone or their laptop or their tablet. And that's not surprising. 210 million TV sets were sold worldwide in 2001, and we are on track to match or possibly even beat that number this year. Now, I'm a bit of a stickler as far as having a TV in the bedroom, and it's mainly because I sleep so lightly that the noise from the TV will keep me awake long after my spouse has already gone to sleep. So why is it that so many people are reporting that they're watching television? Interestingly, they say 73.1% of the adult survey said that they're watching TV because it's just simply a habit. It's what they are used to doing. And believe me, I get it. TV is familiar. It's easy. It's a distraction. You can cycle through channels very simply. If you find something that doesn't maintain your interest, you can switch to something else very quickly. But involving yourself in something that's a little too interesting before bedtime can be a problem. The respondents pointed out that there were several different types of things that they did. Watching television or streaming something on a tablet was the majority of the respondents, 52.7%. One thing that I did find interesting, of the 52.7% that say that they were watching television, a little over 70% of that was driven by an older population. People age 54 and older reported that they're watching it on the television set as opposed to the laptop or phone or tablet. Younger groups report higher circumstances or higher incidence of watching them on a laptop or a tablet or their telephone. I thought that was interesting that us old folks aren't giving up our TV at bedtime. But interestingly, they did report that while watching TV was the highest one, some really encouraging news is that right up next to TV at 32% was taking a shower or bathing at night. And we know that this can be good to help sort of reduce your core body temperature to help you get to sleep. 22% reported talking to a partner, 20% reported reading a book. Encouraging information there. Unplugging from technology, breathing exercises, specific yoga exercises, things like that can be very helpful toward helping us get a good night's sleep. Now, some of the respondents did report some things that aren't necessarily the best to do right before bed. Checking your email, having a drink, which I'm assuming they mean an adult beverage, and exercising. All of those things, doing all of those things right before bed can affect our ability to get a good night's sleep. And as much as we enjoy watching TV for various reasons, it can also be a detriment because it does grab our interest at bedtime when we're supposed to be becoming less distracted. So, for example, binge watching, which is basically just watching more than one episode of a series or of a broadcast at a time, can actually increase your interest and keep you a little bit more engaged at night when we're supposed to be disengaging. So it can stimulate your mind at a time when you're supposed to be winding down. So that's one of the drawbacks of watching television at night before you go to bed. I mentioned earlier, also, if you get less focused on a certain TV show, it's very easy to switch to another and find something else and just watch one more episode or maybe one more episode and finally just one more episode. And then before you know it, it's 1 or 2 in the morning and you have wasted all of that opportunity to get a good night's sleep. Respondents report, though, that it's not so much that watching television eats into their overall sleep time, because as I mentioned, 50% of the respondents say that they're getting at least 7 hours of sleep each night, 7 hours or less. A lot of people may report that they need a little bit more than 7 hours to feel refreshed, but recent studies and the recent prevailing wisdom is 7 hours is the recommended amount of sleep time that we need to feel refreshed and alert during the day. Anything less than 7 hours starts to lead to sleep deprivation, which can affect numerous aspects of our physical and psychological health. And finally, another big problem with watching the television is that exposure to the bright light, to the light itself that mimics sunlight. That can affect not so much our ability to get to sleep, but our circadian rhythm. And over time, and this is something that they didn't really address in the survey itself, they may have done some questions with regard to it, but they may do a follow-up release of some of that information. But the quality of the sleep that people who are watching television, they didn't really address that. So you may be getting 7 hours of sleep, but is that sleep light sleep? Is it deep sleep? Is it affected because your circadian rhythm is a little out of whack? Those are some of the follow-up questions that I would have for the authors of the study. So what's to do? Well, as with any habit, you need to try to break your way out of it. Very simply, a lot of those 210 million television sets that were sold last year, they have what's called a sleep timer built into them. So using the sleep timer is going to be one of the best ways to help limit yourself from watching a whole lot of television at night. So for example, you can set the timer for 30 to 45, 60 minutes, whatever time you feel comfortable with, and then the TV shuts off. When the TV shuts off, go ahead and initiate trying to get to sleep. A lot of people will find that they may have already fallen asleep prior to that timer going off. But I'll tell you, the other people in the bedroom will appreciate that timer shutting that TV off. Because like I said, a lot of times I'm affected by the noise that is going on in the bedroom. So if my husband is watching a television show, I'm going to be hearing that television show until it shuts off. One thing that I also thought would be an interesting follow-up for the researchers was what type of programming were people watching? Were they watching something new, or were they watching something old and familiar? So, for example, my husband will watch Golden Girls. It's a television sitcom that is probably 20 years old now. But it's something that is familiar, that he has seen numerous times, but he uses it more as a white noise to help him drift off to sleep. Fortunately, it will shut off after 2 episodes, and he is typically asleep by that time. I usually get to hear the closing song on the 2nd episode, and then I can go to sleep. But that's my own problem. One other way to help break the habit is if you're going to watch TV, watch it early in the evening. Leave some of those chores, some of those mundane chores to do after you have done your television watching. So, for example, if you've had dinner, leave the dishes to soak for a little bit, watch some television, and then when you're getting ready for bed, go ahead and do those dishes. Load that dishwasher, fold that laundry. Make sure that you're setting aside that time to sort of wind down and not do something terribly interesting, which binge watching TV shows can do. And that way you can help to break some of those TV watching habits that can affect our ability to get a full, complete, and restorative night's sleep. I hope this has been interesting for you. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, jay@somnilopod.com. You can also touch base with me on any of the socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Until we meet again, please remember to try to make sleep a priority. Thanks so much.